Hi, I'm Mark Clegg, and welcome to the Photographer Academy. And today I'm so excited. We've got Kathy, a free diver model based in Alicante in Spain. So as a diver myself, I'm too unfit to dive anymore, but it's on my bucket list. Okay, so watch this space. We'll get to Kathy in a minute. She's there in the background.
Hello.
If you're not familiar with the Photographer Academy, we're an online training company predominantly for photographers. But I'm all about the world of photography. So it's just not about the kind of the current trends or whatever it is. It's about kind of being the better photographer tomorrow than you are today. That's it. You know, I'll encourage you to pick up your camera, get out there, take photographs. It doesn't matter what anybody else says. The taking of the photograph is a journey, and that's really what it's about. If you'd like to learn some more about the Photographer Academy, you could basically scroll down and basically see all the content that we have. Depends on what you're into. But the key thing is, we'd love you to join up. Just click on the Join Now page. And for £100 a year, you basically get full access to all our content and so on with it. And you can see all the different assets you get, including all the Photoshop assets and our brushes, our actions, some files and everything else with it. And we've got posing and lighting apps as well. So I look forward to actually seeing you on the membership site as it is. So, without delay, let's talk about Kathy. Hey,
Yes,
how are you doing?
I'm great, thanks.
I should say hola, buenos dias, but we've already said my Spanish is rubbish, so we're going to do it in English, which is a good sign for everybody else. Kathy, thank you so much for joining me. Let's kind of, before we get into the big kind of chat about the underwater stuff and everything else with it, I've got some quick fire questions for you. Now, obviously, this is all based around kind of being a free diving model, as it were, yeah? So
Amazing.
Quick fire, no thinking, just answers. Ocean or pool?
Ocean.
A favorite underwater color to wear?
There are so many. Purple.
Oh, okay, cool. Shipwreck or coral reef?
Shipwreck.
Early morning or late in the day? Golden hour.
Golden hour.
Spanish tapas or Austrian schnitzel?
Oh, tapas, but vegetarian. I don't eat schnitzel.
Oh, good. One thing that you always have in your dive bag?
GoPro. And like
okay,
a
cool.
mask for sure, and sunscreen. Really important.
Dream shoot location?
Favorite shoot location, Bali.
Most challenging underwater pose?
Any poses on the back where your sinuses get full of water.
I'm teaching my grandkids to avoid that now. Favorite sea creature?
Dolphin.
Yeah, who wouldn't be? Coffee or tea after a long shoot?
Coffee, but only after the shoot, not before diving.
Excellent. Those are quick fire. There we go, loosened up and everything else with it. Kathy, obviously today we're going to talk about the underwater photography and everything else with it and things. How was the transition into modeling in the beginning? So how did you first discover your passion for underwater modeling?
Yes, obviously it's coming from the diver's background. I'm more of a free diver than scuba, but I do both. And at some point I was not quite fulfilled with my profession, which is I studied nursing, so I went to nursing school. And then I was Googling and looking like, okay, what could I do with water? Because I was thinking, what is something that like sets my soul on fire and makes me passionate, and maybe I could even earn money with that, like who knows. And then that's how I found underwater modeling and some amazing photos online. Yeah, and then I found Mermaid Cat, which is an amazing woman, and she offers loads of workshops for all kinds of people. And that's when I jumped into my first underwater workshop, and I knew nothing about posing or yeah.
That's brilliant. I mean, is there, when I began to learn to dive, I kind of, the deeper you go, the longer you're down for, there feels a little bit of anxiousness and the excitement in the same kind of environment. How does it feel as a model when you're first beginning to transition? Because when you're going deeper and deeper, even as a free diver, there is this anxiousness to do with breath. Or do you not have that? Is it just me?
Well, it really depends. In freediving, it's a whole different level than in underwater modeling. In modeling, I don't hold my breath for that long. Like maybe 20, 30 seconds are enough to get amazing photos. Then you come back up if you're in a pool or in shallow waters and you relax, because we want the most relaxed facial expressions as well. So I don't really get anxious when I model, but I definitely have to like focus my mind during freediving, which is the most amazing thing and what I love about freediving, that it's so meditative. But in modeling, it's more uncomfortable to have water literally everywhere. Like it's in the nature of underwater modeling. Into
the Blue is still one of my favorite films of all time. I'm not sure if you've seen that at
yes.
all, but absolutely.
I was thinking about
and there's a new one as well.
The Big Blue.
The Big Blue as well, yeah.
Yes.
Fantastic
amazing
films.
Movie.
Yeah. So in the free diving, there's a calmness, isn't there? A kind of a full relaxation. Are you able to do that at all with the modeling? Or what I'm trying to say is that obviously in the free diving, there's a complete nullness, isn't there? There's just, you're going with it. There's a calmness and so on. Whereas in the modeling, because of throw-in dynamic shape, you're having to think of different things. Is that transition hard for you?
Yes, it is, especially in the beginning, a bit stressful because there are so many things you have to think about. Now I feel like I'm more relaxed, and even like in every single shoot I do, more and more relaxed. But in the beginning, it's like, okay, you have to think about buoyancy. You have to think about, like, even when you start in the pool, where in the pool do I want to be? Where is the light coming from? Where is the photographer? And then, it like over time it hurts your eyes and your sinuses. Not to complain, but it's just things that I didn't know when I was starting, and I want people to know that it's not as easy as it looks like, or it might look like. And so
we're going to take a look at some photographs in a minute. But last question before we're going to have a look at some images. What were your expectations versus the reality when you started to model under?
I think my expectations were for it to be a bit easier. I thought because I had the diving background that it would be even more natural, but in fact it's a skill that has to be like learned like any other skill of posing. And one of my favorite quotes is, repetition is the mother of mastery, or the mother of skill. So you just have to repeat, practice. Practice.
Cool. Let's head over to your Purple Port page first, because obviously you've only just begun to populate that.
Exactly.
And for most, they're probably going to get in touch with you via your Instagram page and everything else with it. We'll start on your Purple Port page for a minute, because this is a really great way for photographers to know what kind of levels you do and everything else with it and things. Really. Is your calendar up to date? So would a photographer book you from this, or would they usually get in touch with you?
You can book me over Purple Port. Only just starting out, but I usually answer all like questions I get there, or
And you've
last week, yes.
And you shoot nude as well, so that's a bigger transition again. How is it nude just on land, or is it nude in the sea as well?
It's both. It's both. Sometimes in the water, I prefer to have more fabric around me, like either it's nude and some fabric I can play with, because that's more flowy, and I think it looks very feminine and beautiful. Some photographers don't like it. They want like the completely nude woman and that's it. And that's fine. But sometimes I prefer dresses in the water.
I do as well, to be honest. I mean, looking at the images, the way that the water takes to the fabric is just amazing, isn't it? You know, it's fantasy in its own kind of level. We'll have a look at some of those now in a minute. Is there a different vulnerability as a nude model under the sea? Because obviously photographers are usually lower down. And basically, do you feel more vulnerable, or is it just like, this is my job, I'm getting on with it,
Yes.
I won't worry about that until after the shoot? How does it work for you?
It's all about trust. I make sure to set up a contract and talk about my expectations and the photographer's expectations, especially before fine art nude shoots.
Yeah.
And it is vulnerable, but it gets better with time, I would say. And then I get more and more comfortable and I loosen up. And like, being naked in nature is wonderful. It's natural. So I don't have a problem with it. But you definitely have to get used to it. Like, at least me, I don't know how other models feel about that.
Yeah, cool. Right. So let's kind of stay on Purple Port for a minute and things, really. Let's kind of have a look at this image. Where's this image? Where's it shot?
Yes, that was shot in Bali, in Tulamben, at the beautiful shipwreck. And that was, I believe, it must be something between, I don't know, 50 meters and 70 meters deep, I think.
How often would you need to take air when you're down this deep?
And we went with a professional team of scuba divers, and we had 3 safety divers, and that's how we were able to do that, and completely without AI.
And how often are they having to give you air?
Every 30 seconds. Like, it's so hard for me to tell because I completely lose track of time. Obviously, I don't have any diver's watch or something when I model. I never hold my breath too long, obviously. I always give them the sign before I get the urge to breathe. Because if I already have the urge to breathe, it's going to be more dangerous and more of a risk.
And are they just running on their octopus, or are they actually giving you your own tank, as it were?
I go down with my tank in the dress, which looks a bit ridiculous, but that's how we do it. Then I take off the jacket with the tank and give it to someone. We place it somewhere. And then the main, my diving assistant, let's call it, hands me the octopus, and that's how I breathe during the shoot.
Very cool.
Yeah.
It's easier for us to have a look at the images on Instagram, to be honest, because obviously we can see them kind of full. We'll come back. So there's the same image again. I'm going to love it as we speak because I'm just in love with you, okay? If I'm coming to Alicante, guess who I'm ringing. So how much setup? Were you on holiday there, or is it a commission to go out there and model for, or what?
In Bali, that was a workshop, and the photographer is, you can see it there, Lichtfangfoto. His name is Christian Zink, amazing photographer from Germany. I love working with him, and I texted him because I initially thought that it's a workshop for models, so I could learn more, but I got it wrong, and it was the workshop for photographers. So he actually ended up asking me, "Hey, do you want to be my model?" Because I still need someone, and that was last year in July, and I loved it.
And how far away from you were they when they shoot?
That's a really good question. Like a few meters, and like some are more like in front, some are above, because then you have the other photographers learning and watching and taking their own pictures, but all from a little bit different angles, I would say.
And do you have your diving? I'm not sure what they call your diving buddy, the one who's on the air for you.
Yes.
Are they running the GoPro the whole time?
The one who's giving me air didn't have a GoPro or anything. They were just responsible for giving me air, and she was hiding behind that rock. You can see that on the on the left. And
it's such a surreal. It almost looks AI, isn't it? You know, it's horrible when we start to talk about AI as a normal now, but it's such a beautiful image. AI has to take influence from this to actually kind of create the amazing kind of thing with it. Let's just talk about another image for a minute, because this one really, I mean, it feels free diver element with the long fin and things. How does this fit in the normal modeling now?
You mean all the with freediving equipment
Yeah,
and
yeah.
sporty style? Well, I also like that kind of style. It's usually, yeah, sometimes it's even more exhausting for me personally, because then you like go a bit deeper. And when I'm in the dress, like either it's scuba assisted or I'm in a pool or really shallow. But I love it. I love all of these styles.
And is the biggest challenge for you modeling underwater the breath, or is it the shapes, communication? What is it?
Communication, not that much, because we discuss it before the shoot usually, and then if you do it apnea, you can go up and discuss it at the surface if something is wrong or whatever. I would say it's a mix of I would say it's looking relaxed while you hold your breath and you have water in your sinuses and your eyes. And you should pose, and you have the dress and the hair to take care of, because sometimes when the hair looks flat, it's just not a beautiful picture. You want it to float around you, right?
Yeah.
So there's so many things to think about.
And how do you let the photographer know that you need a break?
Well, if it's apnea, I would just come up and tell him like, hey, I need a short break. Let me chill for a bit. And ideally, you have a buoy where you can hold on to and you can relax.
And are they running a buoy above anyway, or is there a dive boat very close to you?
For example, for this picture, we didn't have a buoy because it was really close to the shore, and like there were no boats or anything. But in other shoots, we had a buoy, and that's really relaxed, and you can just chill there for a moment.
And as the light falls away, I know this is a bit of a reel as well, isn't it? As the light falls away so fast, as we go deeper and deeper, is there like a sweet spot?
Well, some photographers use like lightning, yeah. And others don't like that so much. Usually, I never went deeper than the 15 or 17 meters or what it was, just because as you go deeper, there's nothing more interesting or more beautiful for the photos. It just gets more, the colors get more dull and grayish. So, and the first color to fade is red, right? So you don't want to wear a red dress and go to 50 meters, because it doesn't make much sense unless you shoot with like a lot of light.
Yeah. And what's been the most breathtaking underwater location you've worked at? Is that Bali again?
That is Tulamben, Bali. Yeah, I would love to explore more locations for sure, in Bali and in Thailand as well.
And are you doing a bit of a transition now between underwater modeling to land modeling as well? Is there work being picked up for you?
Yes. I'm just starting out modeling more on land, and I just see how it goes. And so far, I liked it, but underwater modeling will always be my great love and what I prefer. But if someone wants to shoot with me on land, I would love to, especially at beaches or in nature.
Yeah, I'm in love with your photography. You know, the photographs that you're in, it's just absolutely incredible. I'm trying to think, there's a couple who more or less travel the world now. She's a free diver. And I followed them for years. They haven't come up on my reel for a while. I've forgotten. But the videos that they make are absolutely exquisite and things. And they're a husband and wife team and kind of thing with it, you know, blah, blah, blah.
There's so many photographers out there, underwater photographers.
Oh, I remember when I was doing my diving training, there was a young guy who was kind of the second in charge of me, as it were. And we were sat down afterwards having a Coke and so on with it. And he said, "Oh, what do you do, Mark?" I went, "Oh, well, I used to be a photographer." That's the easiest way I'd put it nowadays. He said, "Oh, but I'm really keen on photography." And he got out his portfolio of Red Sea underwater photography. And oh my God, it blew my mind. And then we literally spent, I got in so much trouble from my wife because we chatted for about 3.5 hours in the bar by the dive shack. And I I've completely forgot to go back to my wife. And so that cost me quite a lot of time during the holiday and things really. But some of the underwater photography that's going on is just spectacular, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
And you don't even need the underwater casing unless you're going to go really deep now as well, kind of thing. You know, since they brought out the likes of the small little Ziploc bags, you can go down 3 meters without any trouble at all with it, you know, with a normal, the only thing you've got to do, yeah, and you just got to use to a bit of color balancing and things, isn't it, really? Back to the questions. So tell us about the time that you were modeling at the shipwreck in Bali. Can you expand on that just that little bit more?
Yes. What can I tell you? I was sick before that shoot, so I really panicked for a moment. I was crying hard because I was so looking forward to these shootings, and thank God we had a backup model, and she did the first day instead of me, for me. And then I quickly recovered, maybe because I was so excited about being in Bali. And that was the first shoot, which is why I look a bit it looks a bit fidgety or a bit stressed. But then I got really relaxed later in the shoot, and it was incredible. I don't even know how to explain.
We can see the air buddy now coming in, isn't it?
Yes.
And out. And I was quite surprised how quickly the bubbles went. And obviously she's hidden behind the rock anyway, but I would have thought we would have had more air around you. But by the time she's disappeared, the photographer is getting his image or her image, isn't it? Straight away.
We usually don't want bubbles in the image, so yeah.
You mentioned about the mermaid kind of modeling and things, really. Have you done anything with the tail?
Yes. No, I haven't. It has never really been my thing, and I don't know why. I haven't enjoyed it as much. But Mermaid Cat is one of the reasons why I got into underwater modeling. So I really want to give her that credit. And she's an amazing woman. And she does shoots in mermaid tails and in dresses and everything. And she has posed with crocodiles and whatnot, all kinds of animals. It's insane.
I was teaching my grandkids when we were on holiday. If I do this, get out of here quickly, all right?
Yes.
How do you prepare yourself physically and mentally before you get in?
Yeah, so one of the most important things is sleep. I need my 9 hours, sometimes even 10 before a shoot if I can. And nutrition, food that really fuels me. I eat mostly vegan, and I feel amazing if I eat lots of fruits and veggies before shooting. That's it. Which doesn't mean that I love chocolate, for example, but before a shoot, that's what makes me feel nice. And then what I also love is listening to affirmations and music that puts me in the right kind of mood.
And what's it like when you're out, when you're back on the boat? It must be exhilarating. I know you're going to be very tired, but you must come up with such a huge, as a photographer, when I take when you've kind of nailed a shot and you just know it in your head. And in the good old days of film, you never knew for 2 weeks unless you were processing that night. Okay, digital photographers today, they get it instantly. But you still know you've nailed it. And as a model, when you're in these amazing scenarios, when you've nailed it, yeah?
Yeah, and I think you almost immediately get that feedback. Like, I love it when my photographer, Christian, was like clapping underwater, like amazing, and it's just, you come out of the shoot really tired, but so happy and so wild. It feels so wild, but in the most amazing way. And also what I like is that usually I get treated like a princess, like diver on the left, diver on the right. They were holding my hand so I don't fall in the rocks of the beach in Tulamben, and it's so funny. I like that once in a while.
I love that image.
was so kind.
I hope you've got a big image up on your wall in your home.
Yes, I should do that.
Oh, you've got
Not
to.
yet, but
You've got to. So you speak German and English fluently. I know you're doing a little bit of Spanish now as well. How does language play a role in the international kind of collaborations? Is it beginning to actually play more and more for you now?
oh yeah, well, English is. I'm so glad I had a pretty like decent like English classes in school, and then with Spanish, I couldn't shoot and communicate in Spanish, to be honest, because it's just not enough yet for real conversations around shooting.
And then there's dive language, but is there a language as well for modeling and photographer when you're under the water as such?
Oh, that's what you mean. Yeah, so the usual signs like okay, or when I need air, I do this, and when I'm like really out of air, but it has never happened. Thankfully, I'm like this. Yeah, that's about it. The photographer shows me the direction a little bit sometimes in Bali, for example, when we're underwater for longer.
And how would I ask you for kind of a more dynamic shape or more use of arms and things, really?
Yeah, the photographer just basically shows me with his own body. It's funny, but that's usually how we do it.
Usually the easiest way, isn't it? As long as the photographer's not dressed in a blue dress as well, yeah?
Yes, usually not.
Have you noticed a cultural difference in how photographers work across the different countries as well?
Not that much. I mean, I don't have that much experience yet, but they were all just really kind, no matter if they are English or German or Polish, all really like kind and fun people to work with. Yeah.
And I mentioned that you begin to do a little bit of modeling on land as well and things, really. Is there something that you really kind of particular, a style or anything else that you want to explore?
I would love to shoot more in swimwear, to be honest. In beaches and in all kind of rock. Oh yes, that's my friend from Thailand. That's Poppy.
And is there quite a lot of work, do you think, down in the Alicantes for you and things?
Sorry?
Is there going to be quite a lot of work, do you think, around Alicante? Are you teamed up with a dive school, or what have you done?
I think underwater, not too much, it can't be compared to Thailand or Indonesia, of course, but you can always find your people and your spots. I'm in the apnea club here, so I think at some point I will hopefully do underwater shoots around Alicante. I would love it.
Yeah, very good, very good. How do you bring a balance to your life and things? Because there's a freedom, isn't there? There's a mental thing. If you're compelled to be involved with the ocean, I think you know what I'm on about. Yes. How do you bring a balance to the harmony of the natural elements and things? Because I feel I could sit on a beach and listen to the waves for basically all day without any interruption. I could walk down a beach with no chatting to anybody at all. I'm quite happy being alone, even though my wife still says I can't afford the divorce. For me, there's a freedom, there's a connection. Do you have that balance?
Yes, I try to get to water or to beaches as often as I can, obviously, in my life. And now that I also work online, it's finally possible for me to go where I want to. That's such a blessing. And what I also love to keep myself balanced is meditation, breathwork, yoga, that kind of bubble, it keeps me really, it calms me down when I need to.
And what's your goals next? What are you up to? What are you planning to do?
More underwater shoots. I want to do one in Austria, maybe in July. I hope I will have enough time with my boyfriend, actually. Would be nice to have my first couple underwater shoot. And then, yeah, we'll probably shoot over Purple Port with a really nice photographer, Rob Ronaldson, in close to here, close to Alicante, in Almeria.
And is your boyfriend up for it as well? Does he know he's going to be modeling, in other words?
Well, he wants to try. He's open to try. He's not a diver yet, but we quickly found out that he loves being underwater as well, and he loves breath work. So it's so meditative, you know. That's why I think he will love it. But let's see.
Excellent. Are there any dream locations or dream photographers that you'd love to work with?
In fine art nude, I would love to work with Dan Hedgerow, I think he's pronounced.
Yeah.
Looks really aesthetic, really beautiful. And locations, more in Indonesia, more in Bali, more in Thailand, but also in Mexico in the cenotes.
Mexico
that always looks
fabulous.
incredible with the light rays. It's wow, I would love to. Maybe next year. Probably.
Yeah, that was the first place I swam with dolphins, in fact, in the open, which was spectacular. Made me cry at the end.
Oh, yes.
When they're not under instruction and everything else, and then all of a sudden they're interacting with you. And at one stage I thought I'd lost them, but one of the other divers was saying, no, Mark, he was on your fin the whole time.
Oh.
He was literally following you. And I just wish we'd had the likes of GoPros then, you know. We're talking, 3 decades ago kind of thing. But cool. How do you see your modeling evolving over the next years?
So I would love to do more underwater modeling for sure. And with land modeling, I still have to see. For now, I would love to continue. But, maybe like I go with what my heart tells me. If I feel like I don't want to do it anymore, I would stop. But for now, I feel, like it's expanding my, how can I say? Sorry, I'm thinking in German right now.
So I have to think in English and I'm still slow.
Yeah, I think it has a lot to do with confidence, and it slowly makes me feel more comfortable in front of the camera and with my body and body image. And I think that's amazing. And the whole point for me is to feel free and to inspire others with what I'm doing.
And how often so let's say you were based in a location and basically there's a busy area for the likes of free diving or for the modeling under the water, whatever it be. How often could you dive in a day?
For free diving, it really depends on the location, how exhausting it is. If there are waves, I would say maximum 3 shoots a day. With free diving, I'm really not that limited. But yeah, if it's pool and ocean mixed, I would say I would do maximum 3 shoots a day, if that answers your question.
So any tips for a photographer who convinces their partner to get in the pool and do some shots, whether they're man or woman and things really? Any tips for them?
If you're just starting out with underwater modeling, get yourself really good waterproof makeup and make sure to practice a little bit before. I think that's the most important thing.
And wear something, isn't it?
Sorry?
And wear something like the fabric, the dresses.
Yes.
Don't think just of the
outfit where you feel most comfortable, but that's also great for water and that's flowy and just looks great on you. And I think the most important thing, have fun. Have fun, even though it might be weird or uncomfortable or whatever. Enjoy the moment because it's something so special, at least to me, and unique.
Yeah. If you could describe the underwater modeling in just one word, what would that word be?
Freedom.
Awesome. That's brilliant. Kathy, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure. I hope you get busier and busier. And if you're in Alicante, and if I ever get there, and I'm fit enough to get in the pool or in the sea, we'll go in diving.
God, I'd love that.
Yeah, I still, as soon as I learned to dive, I bought a camera kit, just enough to get going. I bought strobes as well, underwater strobes. And I think I jumped a bit too fast into doing it, but I was amazed at what you could capture. But there's a few skills as a photographer to learn, but there's so much information and so much knowledge out there.
Yes, there are great workshops for underwater photography. I know nothing about the photography part, but there are so many people who know all the important things.
But even going down with a GoPro, isn't it? You know, if you go down with a GoPro and you just actually film underwater, forget about asking somebody to model for you to begin with, but just get, as a photographer, get yourself familiar and yourself calm so that you're not forgetting things and things.
Yeah. Yes, I agree.
Kathy, thank you so much. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed our chat with Kathy. Absolutely brilliant. Remember, you can find Kathy on her beneath.the.surf, I should say, .ace as far as Instagram. See the links below. And you can obviously find her on Purple Port as well. And I'll put that link as well. Thank you very much, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.